Most good channels fail not because they're bad, they fail because they're invisible. And those are two completely different problems, with two completely different solutions. And almost nobody is working on the right one. Here's the thing that nobody wants to say out loud. You can be genuinely talented, genuinely consistent, genuinely making work that deserves an audience, and still get nothing. Zero traction, crickets, for months, sometimes longer. And the brutal part is that the algorithm doesn't care about deserve. It doesn't have a fairness setting. It's not holding your good stuff back waiting for the right moment. It's just responding to signals. And if you don't understand which signals, you're basically throwing work into a void and hoping the void notices. So why does this happen? Why do good channels stay invisible for so long? The answer isn't what most people think. It's not about consistency, though that matters. It's not about quality, though that matters too. It's not even really about the algorithm, at least not in the way people mean when they blame the algorithm. It's about something more fundamental than any of that. And once you see it, you'll understand not just why good channels stay invisible, but exactly what breaks that invisibility, what actually tips the scale. Let's start with the thing everyone gets wrong first. Most creators, when they're starting out, or when they're stuck, think the problem is output. Just make more, post more, stay consistent. And look, there's a version of that advice that's true. Volume matters. Reps matter. You don't get good at this stuff without doing it. But here's where it breaks down. Consistency is a prerequisite. It's not a strategy. Showing up is the floor, not the ceiling. And treating it like a ceiling is exactly why talented people spend 2 years making videos and wonder why nothing's moving. Think of it this way. Imagine a musician practicing scales in a soundproof room every single day, incredibly consistent, getting better every week. Nobody can hear them. Consistency doesn't solve the soundproof room. You need a door. The door is discoverability. And discoverability is a completely separate skill from making good content. This is the first big split that most people never make. They think of their channel as one thing, content, when it's actually two things running in parallel. There's the content itself, and then there's the packaging, positioning, and surface area that determines whether that content ever reaches anyone. Most creators put 95% of their energy into the first thing and almost nothing into the second. And then they're confused when the first thing doesn't work. Here's what the second thing actually involves. It involves understanding how people find videos. Not just the keywords, not just the tags, though those are part of it, but the psychological mechanics of what makes someone click, what makes a thumbnail stop a scroll, what makes a title feel like something you can't not click on. These aren't aesthetic choices, they're almost entirely psychological, and they're learnable, but they take study, they take attention, they take the same seriousness you bring to actually making the video. Most people treat the thumbnail like a chore, something you slap together at the end when you're already tired. 5 minutes, done, upload. And then they wonder why nobody clicks. The click is the whole game at first. Before retention, before watch time, before any of that. The click. You can have the greatest video in your niche, and if the thumbnail and title don't earn the click, the video functionally doesn't exist. That's not a metaphor. It's literally true. The algorithm can't show it to more people if it's not getting clicked. There's nothing to work with. So that's the first layer. But here's where it gets more interesting. Let's say you figure that part out. You study thumbnails. You start testing titles. Your click-through rate goes up. Now you have a new problem, which is actually the same problem in a different costume. Watch time. And not just watch time in the aggregate, but watch time in the first 30 seconds. Because here's what the algorithm is actually doing. It's running a continuous experiment. It shows your video to a small group of people. It watches what happens. Do they click? Good signal. Do they stay? Even better signal. Do they leave immediately? That's a problem. If people are clicking and then leaving in the first 20 seconds, the algorithm reads that as a misleading title, a bad experience, a video that doesn't deliver on its promise, and it pulls back. It stops the experiment. It shows it to fewer people. This is why some videos just die. Not because they're bad, because the opening doesn't hold. The first 20 seconds don't earn the next 20, and the algorithm sees it happening in real time and quietly closes the door. Now here's the part almost nobody tells you. The opening of a video is a completely different craft from the rest of the video. It has different rules, different physics. Most creators learn to make good videos. Very few learn to make good openings, and those are not the same skill. A good video can absolutely start slow if you're in a movie theater where the audience is already committed. YouTube is not a movie theater. The viewer has 17 other tabs open. They're on their phone. They're half watching. Your opening has to earn their full attention from a standing start. In a context where leaving is frictionless and instant, the best opening doesn't start at the beginning of the topic. It starts at the most interesting part of the topic, the tension, the contradiction, the thing that makes the viewer go, "Wait, what?" And then it earns its way backward from there. There's a creator in the history and education space who spent 8 months making beautifully produced, genuinely well-researched videos. Average views were somewhere around 200. He was starting every video the same way. Introduce the topic, give some context, set the scene, then get to the interesting part about 4 minutes in. He thought he was being thorough. He was actually bleeding out in the opening every single time. The interesting part was minute 4. The viewer left at minute 1. He restructured one video, moved the most counterintuitive fact in the whole piece to the first 12 seconds, opened with it cold, then pulled back and built the context. That one video hit 40,000 views. Same topic area, same production level, same channel, different door. That's not a trick. That's understanding what the opening is actually for. But here's the third layer, and this one runs deeper than thumbnails and openings. Niche clarity. This sounds like basic channel advice, and most people have heard it, and most people think they've handled it. They haven't, or at least most haven't, because niche clarity isn't just about picking a topic. It's about being identifiable. It's about your audience being able to feel, within the first few seconds of any video, that they're in the right place, that this channel is for them specifically. And this is where a lot of genuinely talented creators get stuck for a very long time. They're good at multiple things. They have multiple interests. They don't want to be boxed in, so their channel is a little bit of everything, because everything they make is good, it's just not coherent, and incoherence is invisible. The algorithm, weirdly, agrees with this. A subscriber who watches your business videos and your travel vlogs and your cooking content is almost useless to the algorithm, because it can't figure out who else to show your videos to. It looks at your audience, tries to find patterns, and finds none. So it shows your stuff to basically nobody, because it doesn't know who nobody is. A subscriber who only ever watches your business content, on the other hand, the algorithm knows exactly who they are, and it knows thousands of other people just like them, and it starts showing those people your videos. This is why focused channels grow faster than unfocused ones, often at a dramatically lower quality level. A mediocre focused channel will frequently outgrow a brilliant unfocused one. It's not fair. It's just how the discovery system works. Now, here's the thing about all of this that actually matters. These problems are all invisible from the inside. That's the point. When you're making videos you're proud of, doing the work, staying consistent, it feels like you're doing everything right. And in one sense, you are. The craft might genuinely be good, but the craft and the discoverability are separate systems. And if the second system is broken, the first system can't save you. Good work in a sealed room is still a sealed room. And the reason this takes so long to figure out, the reason good channels stay invisible sometimes for a year, 2 years, is that the feedback loops are slow and confusing. A video performs badly. Is it the thumbnail, the opening, the topic, the niche, the posting time? All of the above? None? You don't know. And if you're not systematically testing and watching the analytics and learning to read the signals, which takes time and which nobody teaches you directly, you'll just keep doing what you're doing, slightly adjusting, slightly confused, and not making real progress. This is why the creators who break through often look, from the outside, like they got lucky. One video pops. Suddenly they're at 50,000 subscribers, and people look at that and say, right place, right time, viral moment. But if you look closer, that lucky video is usually the moment where the discoverability finally aligned with the content quality, where the thumbnail and the opening and the topic and the niche all clicked together at once. They didn't get lucky, they got aligned. And alignment takes experimentation, and it takes time, and it takes specifically paying attention to the right things. The creators who stay invisible longest are the ones paying attention to the wrong things. They're measuring subscriber count when they should be measuring click-through rate. They're optimizing watch time when they should be fixing the opening. They're diversifying their content when they should be narrowing it. They're working hard in the exact wrong direction, which is somehow worse than not working hard at all, because at least stagnation is honest. Misdirected effort has a lie built into it, the lie that effort equals progress. Here's what actually breaks the invisibility, and this is the part that sounds simple and isn't. You have to get good at the game of discovery, not as a separate project from making content, but as part of the same project. Every video is two things: the content itself and the packaging. You study both. You test both. You get curious about both. You look at what's working in your niche, not to copy it, but to understand why it's working. What's the thumbnail doing? What's the title promising? What does the opening tell you about how they think about holding attention? You treat your channel like a scientist treats an experiment. Hypothesis, test, observe, adjust. Not upload, hope, be disappointed, upload again. And you give it real time. Not patient but passive time, active time. Every month you should understand your channel better than the month before. The analytics should be less confusing. The patterns should be slightly more readable. You should be developing intuition about what your audience responds to, not from guessing, but from watching. The channels that break through aren't usually the ones that made the best videos. They're the ones where the creator figured out both games simultaneously. Content and discoverability, craft and packaging, the thing and the door to the thing. And here's the quiet truth under all of this. Most people won't do it, not because they can't, because it's uncomfortable to shift your identity from person who makes great content to person who makes great content and also studies how people find it and thinks carefully about thumbnails and runs experiments and treats this like a real discipline with real mechanics to learn. That's a more complicated identity. It requires admitting there's a game inside the game, and a lot of talented people don't want to play that game. They want the work to speak for itself. It won't. Not for a long time. Maybe not ever, if the packaging doesn't let it speak. The best creators I've watched grow fast. Not overnight, but genuinely fast in the scheme of things. All had this in common. They weren't too proud to care about the click. They cared about making something worth watching, and about making sure it got watched. Both, at the same time, with equal seriousness. That's the unlock. Not a tactic, not a hack, just that dual seriousness. Caring about the thing and the door to the thing, and refusing to pretend the door doesn't exist. Your work deserves to be seen, but deserve has never opened a single door. You have to build it.